Hi, I'm Ann Collier, and I'm the curator at the Cultural and Natural History Collections at the University of Laverne. I am a history and anthropology graduate of the University of Laverne, and that is my passion, and that's how I ended up becoming the curator here. For those of you familiar with the University of Laverne or Laverne College, the former Yeager Museum is now the Cultural and Natural History Collections. So we have all the same materials, all the same specimens and artifacts that were once housed inside of the Monero Science and Education Building. They are now over here in the new renamed Yeager House. So I'm standing in front of our bone collection. Some people call it skeletal, some people call it skeletal, potato. Basically bones, and it's how we study the different morphology, the distinct characteristics of animals or birds. We have a multitude of bones and specimens that are available for research for not just the students here at Laverne, but for researchers outside of the college. And they're important because they show evolution in species, they show different diseases, they show how everything changes, what animals were here at one time, which birds were here at one time. And inside this collection, one of our most prized collection is our Brea Tar Pit specimen collection that was donated to us from Dr. James Z Gilbert. Was a minister of the Church of the Brethren, and he was also a professor at the Los Angeles High School. He taught zoology. And though he didn't have his doctorate, he did have his degree from the McPherson College in Kansas, which is another Brethren college. In fact, he has the dubious honor of being their first graduate out of their college program. But he taught out here in the Los Angeles High School at the time that the Brea Tar Pit specimens were being uncovered. And he was called to come down and look inside of them. And you got to imagine Los Angeles at the time was empty. There was just the Rancho La Brea, and it was in that area that they were finding these different bones coming up from the seepage of the asphaltum. And the asphaltum, as you should understand, had been used for years between the Native Americans, the Spanish era, the Mexican era, the American era, because it was great for putting pitch on your roof. Gilbert goes down there and he starts to look at them and he realizes these are bones he's never seen before. These are really unique bones. They don't match anything that he's aware of. So he gets together his high school students. He brings the boys down and he has them come down and they start to dig what eventually became known as the Academy Pit. And he has the girls clean the bones. They'd use coal oil and kerosene. So the boys are digging, the girls are classifying. And as this is going on, they're realizing that there is more and more of really unique, extinct, unknown species coming out of this pit that's never been seen before. And he gets together with the Academy of Sciences, distinguished people, typically people of science or money. They realized that we had really unique animals here that had not been seen before. They are from the Pleistocene era. Most of the saber-toothed cats in the area come from the Miocene area. The Academy of Sciences eventually became the Natural History of Los Angeles. And at the time, Z Gilbert made a deal with the Academy. For every bone that they would get, he would get to keep one. His private collection is what we have here at the University of Laverne. And they came to us because in the 1940s, he was teaching a class here. And at the time, unfortunately, he passed away. So the bones that were here for his class stayed with us. And then years later, when his family was moving out of their family home in Altadena, they found bones underneath the crawl space of the house. They found them in the garage, and they donated the rest of their collection to us. So we like to say we have the second largest collection of Brea Tar Pit specimens outside of the Page Museum. Granted, they have like millions, but still, it's the second largest collection outside of the Page Museum in the state of California. So one of the specimens is called a Smilodon californicus. So that is your saber-toothed cat, not a tiger, it's a cat. This is a Smilodon within the canine species. You can see that its saber teeth right here are actually short, which gives us the idea that it's probably a juvenile. This specimen was donated to the college at the time, Lordsburg College, by the Smithsonian Institute, by the Smithsonian Museum, because Lordsburg, then Laverne, then the University of Laverne, was once a teaching college. So the point of the museum, which again now is the collections, was so that students could actually touch objects, so they could look at objects, they could research them. Just pretty rare in the university academia world for undergrad.